Good evening. This is the Elliott Wave Daily Update for the S&P 500 and the NASDAQ 100 for Thursday, November the 7th, 2024. The market continued to rally, stopped for a little bit, waited for the Fed. Fed came out, cut interest rates 25 basis points, and then the market put in a little bit additional upside and then just started to relax a little bit. Now, I've really been spending some time trying to just look at where we are inside of this minute fifth wave up. So there's the four, and we're inside this fifth. Now, we continue to have Fibonacci, first of all, the 100 level, the 100% where wave 5 would be equal to wave 1, came and went because that was at 59.67. So we reached to that level and went above that level during the Globex session. And then once our session started, we just continued to move higher. Took a pause around 15, just about 6,000, came back down, but then ended up going back up and closing above 6,000 in the futures market. Now, the call wall above coming in today was at 60.31, 6,031. And the JP Morgan collar, which is basically via the end of December options, is at 60.55. And so the big question right now is, it's like, okay, Mark, are you going to go up there and you give that a test? Are you going to go up there and punch through it? What is the situation? And the problem that I'm having is because of the nature of the rally, we've only really had one discernible pullback, and that was this one right here. So where are we inside of this? And basically what I'm coming up with is 1, 2, minuet 1 of minute 5, minuet 2 of minute 5, and that we're still inside this third wave. Now, if that's the case, just by this simple calculation, this third, if indeed it is the third, the first minimal is 60.42 or 60.43. We're right underneath that collar. If we're going to go to the extended level, which would mean that wave 3 would be equal to wave 1, that's going to come in at 61.30. The minute fourth wave would be 1.618 times the length of minute wave 1 at 61.18. So I'm not really feeling that this is kind of where we're going to end up to finish wave 3. We could, but I'm having a little bit of difficulty just finding points to connect within this building 5-wave structure that we got going on so that I can put a label on 1, 2, 3, and then 4. Now, it is possible. Let me take this one down. And I look at really coming in, and let me just open this up so that we can go inside of it. If it's here, then that's 1, and this is 2. And then we got it 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 3, 4, and we're in the 5. That's a maybe. That's just a maybe. But if it is, and I need to connect wave 1 to wave 4, well, you're going to see how kind of strange that's going to look. Because what I'd have to go in is like all of these already been exceeded. So we'd have to go in and do something like this. 3.618 to 4.236. And then those would be on the sub-minuet level. Oh, actually, they'd be on the minuet level. So let me go there, let me go here, and here to the minuet level. Now, this makes a little bit more sense, but that would put the completion point, right? If I'm going 1, 2, 3, 4, and we're inside of 5, and then the best I can do out of this is 1, 2, and then this still working on the third, and then we pull back in a little 4, we come back up in the 5. So this one would suggest, if I'm connecting correctly, this one would suggest that the finish of this minute wave 5 is going to come in right in that area of where the JP Morgan collar is. Now remember that what I'm looking for is the completion of minute wave 5, of minor wave 5, of intermediate wave 3. So now what's kind of interesting is how quick within this year-end framework that we're working with, right? Because what we've got going on is all the seasonal charts still pointing really very strongly higher. They took off once that election day came. Boy, they started to rally, and then they're still going. So that fits perfectly with the seasonal charts, because that's what we're looking for, really just a beeline, straight line, pretty much up. And that's exactly what we're getting. Now, technically, within those seasonal charts, they're also showing that the rally could last until the December, so pretty much the full month of November. Now I begin to think, okay, what if we're going to go up, we finish this intermediate wave 3, we come back down in an intermediate wave 4, and then rally back up in that intermediate 5th wave, and what we finish, this is just speculation here, right? What we finish is that intermediate 5th wave all the way up, but that kind of goes into January of 2025, maybe. So again, my problem at the moment is just trying to work the internals so I can pick some points and run some fibs and put some more definition to where we are. I mean, I've broken it down and looked at a line chart. You can see that the line chart is also just not real clean. I mean, we're showing that we got, like, that's 3 waves. And then 1, 2, and then 1, 2, and then all this junk. And then these little teeny tiny pullbacks and then runs. So it's presenting its challenges. And even if I take it down and just put it on a candlestick chart, I got a 1, I got a 2, maybe there. And then we're going to come up, and this would be 3, and that could be 4, and then we're in 5. We got 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, a 3, 4, 5, a 3, 4, 5. Maybe. So still coming up into here. So it's not real easy right now. So I continue just to go with the outside of where minute wave 5 could end up now that we've passed through the 100%, right? Equality. Wave 5 equal to wave 1 equality. Broken and still going. So that takes us actually to that next level, which is 61.18. Could that be the finish point for minute wave 5? And then the minor 5, and then the intermediate wave 3? I believe it could. What the internals are going to look like, I must allow the market to continue to tell me. Because the other interpretation that I could have is this is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, wave 1. Minuet wave 1 of minute wave 5, which is really going to look like, okay, we're going to the moon on all this, and then we're up into here. So those are kind of the choices. Because if we can go through this, like we've been going through everything else, we're looking to go above and really to head higher. And that would be pretty dynamic in terms of a year-end rally. Is it possible? Of course. I have to be honest with you. I'd have to say, yeah, it's possible. I can't sit and tell you that, no, never going to happen. I think that would be a mistake. Do we still have outside forces that could change that picture? We do. And they are the geopolitical ones. They are still all of the details that we now got to put together about an incoming administration and who gets what position. And are there conflicts? Are there conflicts of interest? Are there all the different things that the government, that the Senate and the House and all the rest of our government need to figure out? And we probably won't know anything until January, when the new House and the new Senate take over, and just all the things that could happen in between. So uncertainty abounds. But right now, I myself am going on the fact that it's a year end and that there's still more to do. And whether we're going to be finishing up intermediate wave 3 and come back down in an intermediate wave 4, which we know what the situation there is, no matter where we end up, the Elliott alone tells us that we're likely going to end up, if indeed, right, wherever this ends up, we've got a intermediate fourth wave that should bring us back down to here. That's what Elliott tells us. That's how it gets constructed. That a fourth wave will find its terminus at or end point within the price territory of the fourth wave of one lesser degree, and this is it. And often, as he said, it comes in at the end, in the bottom section of it. And that brings us back to here. So you really kind of get down and you go, like, okay, are we going to go up and really test or maybe break through that JP Morgan collar? Maybe. But I think it survives. So then what really comes in, if we finish minor wave 5, intermediate wave 3, and we start to come down between now and the end of December, what could get challenged? The put side of that collar, which is at 54.50. That's the strike. December 31st, but 54.50 is the strike. And I'm looking for a move to bring us down to 5,200 or 5,100. Wow. Could get very, very interesting. So right now, the way I got to leave this is we're not done. Minute wave 5 is not done. I think we still have additional legs up before it is. And I got to take it out of this. I got to take it out of this because the candles just kind of blur our view. But even here, best I can do is 1, 2. Is this all 3? That's also a possibility. If we look at the 4-hour chart, that's all a possibility. We got a 1 and a 2, and this is all a part of wave 3, and the wave 3 may be finished today or a little bit more, and then we pull back in a small 4. And what I'd be looking at is maybe here, and then we rally again in wave 5. That's minuet wave 5 of minute wave 5. So those are what I'm going to offer out. So the strength of the market, evident, very evident. Year-end moves posturing, very evident. But we're just at the beginning of November. So a lot of posturing going on. And what really continues to play in on a lot of this are the flows, the capital flows, the options flows. And a lot of that is happening within these individual stocks. For example, in Tesla, we saw Tesla surge yesterday. We saw Tesla really go up and attempt to, and I'm just going to go over, I know that this is here, but we've got pretty close to 300. The high today in Tesla was 299.75. That was the high today. And one last thing I want to show you in Tesla. For those that maybe trade it, great. If you don't, it's interesting. I come down to these options, right? The November 15th, that's an expiration. That's a November monthly. 300. Aha. Call wall. The call wall in Tesla is at 300. Wow. Okay, so what does that mean? Tesla goes to 300, breaks 300, forces another 100-point rally. The all-time high in Tesla is 400. Stranger things, my friends, stranger things. What would that do to our market? And it's going to send it to the moon. Tesla is a part of the S&P 500, a little bit bigger part in the NASDAQ, but there they sit. So again, I'm going to leave these here because this is based on that our next resistance that could maybe complete our move comes in at the first one is I got to bring it back down to the hourly chart. Sorry, so we can get inside and look at that. 60.25. Now, would that finish 3 and then we come down into 4 and we go back up into 5? Yeah, it could. It really could. So, because this is just the pullbacks are too small, and it keeps subdividing and subdividing and subdividing as it's moving. These are moving targets. So very impressive, very strong. It is a very strong year-end rally for sure, or just a very strong rally. It still has more to go to the upside. Our next resistance, 60.25, 60.46 or 47 to 50 to 55, because that's where that call wall is. And then we got more at 61.18, and then we have more up here. These are long-standing, these two. But we're just going to sail right through 6,000 as if it doesn't matter and get up to 6,100 in another day. What's another 2% move? It all can happen. So buckle your seatbelts. Now, the market, at least on the hourly chart, is getting a little bit overcooked. In fact, this was yesterday's RSI. Here's today's RSI with new highs. Kind of starting to say that we may be running out of steam. And not all members of the S&P are participating. So just some of the stronger, maybe in the Mag 7s, whatever, pushed. And we can't forget, we got our friend NVIDIA knocking on 150's door. Let's just take a look to see what NVIDIA, where it's the high today. 149, basically. The call's for 150. It's a buck away. All right, so this is going to get interesting. And they've yet to report. So are they going to hit the top, come back, and then report and drop? I don't know. A lot of stuff lining up to be determined here. All right, so I'm going to leave it there. Going back over to the daily just to take a look to see where we are and how this all sits. Look at the beauty of this thing. Bing, bing, bing. So is it 1, 2, 3, 4? And we're in that 5? Maybe. Moving averages, 50's turning higher. The 8 is back above the 20, both heading higher. Not as strong as I would hope, but still heading higher. 200 following along. Let's go over and take a look at the NASDAQ. And the NASDAQ, we have kind of started to really break. In fact, for the minor wave 5, we popped above 1.618. For 5 would be 1.618 times the length of minor wave 1. We broke above it. That level was at 21.28, I believe it was. Let me just kind of say exactly. It was 21,138. So that was an important level. And hold on one second, please. Sorry, I had a little bit of a cough. So we broke and continued. And we broke 21,138 and continued. We got up to our high today, which was 21,253. So we have successfully gotten above 21,213, which was the high of minor 3. We've achieved that. Minor 5 always had an expectation of breaking above minor wave 3. Achieved today. what are our levels? Well, we continue to have, wait a minute, I can change that one. So let me kind of go in here and change this. Because the 100 is done. And now we got 1618, which sits up here at 21,974. So I do think we have potential. We have strong potential for this to drop, or not to drop, but to run 22,000. 22,000. So now everything that we're doing now are, again, now the NASDAQ, along with the Dow, along with the S&P, are reaching new highs, new highs, new highs, new highs, new all-time highs. And that was always kind of like, gee, they're having trouble. And then boom, they're taking care of it all real quick right now. In fact, 3 days, and they're just blowing everything out and taking it all up. So, but I think we still have additional, because if I open this up, what does it look like on the daily? 1, 2, 3, 4, and we're in the 5, maybe. And if that's the case, 21,485, 21,665, those are our numbers. That's for intermediate 3. This is for minor 5. All possible. And then we come into here, all possible. These will follow. This just is showing endpoints for getting 5 waves up. We're just now working the structures to get it. We remain within minute wave 5 of minor wave 5. So this is all endpoints, and they're all valid. We got a strong push if we get one, which it could. Okay, we end up at 23,000. Right now, though, I'm just trying to work, where are we inside of all of this? And if I open it up, our 4-hour is getting very overbought. Now, a little different here, right? Because here they couldn't really get even overbought. And that wave 4 took us to slightly oversold. And then we're just kind of plowing up. Even if I'm just doing Elliott on an RSI, that's 1, 2, 3. So maybe this, because I told you, this could be wave 3. And if that's the case, then we got to try to figure out where we're going to get that. And I got to take this guy off. So let me go in there and do that, because I'm going to put these up, that if this indeed is our levels, and I'm not sure why this is coming in right there. Let me go down to my hourly chart and I'll tell you where. This is like 1, 2, and this would be all of wave 3. So we go running it such as this, if indeed it is, then we're going to run it up to here, and now we're looking for a pullback. 382, which is the normal for fourth wave, 20,950. 21,065 would be our first marker. And here we have, look at how high the 8 is getting. So I think we could pull back in here. I think we could pull back a little bit more strongly. And that would also, again, refer to pull the S&P down as well. So this is what we're dealing with. And this is where I think we could end up. So in any case, I am going to kind of finish it there. And on my 1 hour, all of these moving averages are still, none of them are even hinting. Oh, we're done. They're not hinting. All of them now angling up very strongly on the 1 hour. Again, on the 4 hour, all of them angling up very strongly. And then on the daily, all of them angling up. The 200's turning, but angling higher. So this is moving much faster than these could keep up. So that could kind of also spell like, well, pull back. Pullback needed, and there's our levels. And if they come all the way 50%, well, yeah, they could. So I'm going to leave it there. It is presenting its challenges, but yet the rallies themselves intraday, it's not been a bad choice to kind of just, you buy the pullbacks, and then they just keep on going. You got to manage your risk, but you buy the pullbacks. That still may be the case coming into tomorrow. Let me take a look to what we could look for tomorrow in terms of economic data. And on Friday, we have consumer sentiment. And then that's basically it. We got a couple of Fed people out speaking. Consumer sentiment, that's it. So it could be an interesting day, but it also is an expiration. And so we could see some activity there as well. Okay, the next daily update will be on Monday, November the 11th. And I will be doing a weekly update on Saturday, November the 9th.